Hello and good Friday to you, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Southern Sports Focus. And today, we take a look at our 5 games, 5 questions for the week. A little bit late, I know, but again, it's been crazy this week. And so, here we go. Hope you like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff, get the algorithm going, help me out a little bit. But question number 1, who will get that key stop that might be needed to win the third Saturday in October? For Alabama and Tennessee, one has a defense that's been questionable, the other pretty much just awful. The problem for the Tide defense has been stopping the run. Now, yes, the numbers have been a bit better for the past couple of weeks, but Vanderbilt, let's be honest, they kind of abandoned the run early. And while the Tide defense did hold the nation's leading rusher Ahmad Hardy to 52 yards against Missouri, the Tigers still averaged nearly 6 yards per carry, so still a work in progress. Still, it hasn't been great. As a whole, the Tide is giving up nearly 157 yards per game on the ground. The passing defense is among the best in the league and the nation, at third ranked nationally, but the Vols have the top offense in the SEC. However, they do have one of the worst defenses, dead last in passing, 14th in total defense, and next to last in points allowed per game. If Tennessee cannot get to Ty Simpson, he will pick apart that Vol secondary. In this game, 1 or 2 defensive stops, big defensive stops, might be all these defenses can manage. Whoever gets them will be smoking those victory cigars. Question number 2, can Georgia avoid the lethargic start? Kirby Smart's Bulldogs are still winning, a 5-1 record, but the start of the games hasn't been pretty. In 3 of the 4 SEC games for Georgia, the Bulldogs have fallen behind by double digits in the first half. Now, granted, the Dogs have won 2 of those, but how long can they keep playing dangerously in one loss already on the season? That's a big question, as the Dogs welcome in an Ole Miss team that brings one of the top offenses in the league. The Rebs, they are coming off a win versus Washington State, and it was not a beautiful win. It was ugly, and it was a lot closer than it should have been. And you know Lane Kiffin has been talking to his team about that all week, about how if they bring a similar effort, they'll be run off the field in Athens. Kiffin will bring the rapid attack early on offense, trying to get the Georgia defense off balance. The plan will be to score early and often to build a big lead. Easier said than done, and with the struggles of the Rebs defense this year, no lead might be safe. But you have to think, if Georgia continues to live dangerously, then Bama won't be their only loss, and Ole Miss has a team of giving them their second defeat of the season. Our next question, can one of the top passing attacks in the ACC give an undefeated team its first loss? One of the low-key big games this Saturday is 6-0 Georgia Tech going to Durham to face Duke. The Blue Devils 4-2, and a big reason for that is quarterback Darian Mensah. The sophomore leads the ACC in passing yards, tied for first in touchdown passes, and second in passer rating and yards per attempt. Tech has been pretty good versus air attacks, allowing only around 189 per game, but the Yellow Jackets have only faced one team that averages over 250 yards per game through the air, so they've really yet to be tested. Duke is actually a slight favorite in this game at -1.5. If Mensah can get hot, the Ramblin' Wreck might go home with their first loss on the year. And finally, how many SEC teams are going to say bye-bye to their coach? Now, I'm cheating a little on this one because it's kind of a 2-for-1 because depending on who you ask, both Florida and Auburn might be writing some paychecks out after Saturday, some buyout paychecks. On Wednesday, several reports stating that Florida head coach Billy Napier's time is already done, that he has been pre-fired, whatever that means, and win or lose versus Mississippi State, he's gone. The report from USA Today states Florida Athletic Director Scott Strickland met with a handful of influential boosters on Tuesday and was told that continuing financial support depends on new direction within the football program. Now, the part about withholding some financial support was part of any conversation that was disputed in the report by an anonymous source supposedly in the program. Still, Napier's days could be numbered, and it's not a question of if, but when, if you believe the USA Today article. And then there's Auburn. That one, we know the issues on offense, and frankly, it seems like there are very few wins left on the Tiger schedule. And there are voices saying Hugh Freeze will be gone soon, but others saying he's sticking around. Auburn undercover's Philip Marshall said the program's power brokers see the team's record as actually being 5-1, and they're blaming officiating for losses against Georgia and Oklahoma. And on Monday, AD John Cohen said, quote, "Not my expectation at this point to make a change," which I guess is a version of the dreaded vote of confidence thing, but it doesn't sound so confident. In fact, the full statement was this: "I don't know if I'm going to walk outside and my car is going to start or not. I think it is. I have an expectation it will, but if my car doesn't start enough, then I'll evaluate that and make decisions about my car. But it's not my expectation at this point about our football program. Okay, yeah, that I guess that works. That's not exactly something that you would call a strong vote of confidence because the Auburn offense, it has failed. Well, I guess you could say it started, but its engine life hasn't gone very far, especially in the second half. Now, both teams have SEC opponents this week that present a challenge. Florida has the Mississippi State team that's been up and down. They are 0-2 in conference play, but the game is in Gainesville as well. Also, Auburn has a home game versus Missouri, a team that can take advantage of Auburn's anemic offense and wear down the defense with a strong running attack. Now, I don't pretend to know what will happen this weekend after these two games, but losses, especially a bad one for either coach, might force the ADs to take action. So those are my 5 games, 5 questions for the week. What do you think? Let me know. Have a great day.